according to the clock in front of us, it's 4 o'clock. So it's my honor to call the Historic Preservation Commission of Eureka to order. May we have a roll call?
Commissioner Summers? Here. You turn your mic on?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Sievertson?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Herlihy?
You got it. Here.
Commissioner Loring?
Present.
Commissioner Knight?
Here.
Commissioner Smith?
Here.
And Commissioner Fair is not with us today.
Right. Item 2 is the election of officers. I would offer, I would open nominations for the position of chair.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Loring for chair.
Thank you. Loring's nominated. Are there any other nominations for the position? Hearing none, is there any objection to seating Mr. Loring as chair of the commission? Hearing no objection, so ordered. Second item is vice chair. Are there any nominations for vice chair of the commission?
I'm going to nominate Liz Knight.
Does Ms. Knight accept?
Liz Knight does not.
Good try.
I would gladly nominate Mr. Sievertson.
Does Mr. Sievertson accept? All right. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? From your silence, I sense that there are no additional nominations. Nominations are closed. Are there any objections to seating Mr. Sievertson as vice chair of the commission? Seeing no objections, so ordered. Third item of business is the approval of the minutes as distributed. Are there any changes to the minutes as distributed? Any corrections or changes? Okay. Tell me when we go again. Anybody heard any good jokes?
I apologize. I've been running and cooking all day and I don't have. So if I look at you blankly, you're on my bad side.
Well, if for some reason you are not hearing or need clarification, just shout out.
I haven't done this in months.
May we proceed? Thank you. So the next item of business is the approval of the minutes. Are there any additions, changes, or corrections to the minutes as distributed? Seeing none, are there any objections to adopting the minutes as distributed? Hearing none, so ordered. Then we move on to public hearings continued, none, and new public hearings. So the first item of business is the Carson Park Playground replacement. Would you like to present that report to us?
Yeah, great. Assistant Planner Alexandra Gonzalez is going to present to you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Assistant Planner Gonzalez, and today I'm presenting the proposed Carson Park Playground Replacement Project located at 2500 I Street. Here's a bird's eye view of the location where you see the park is centrally located within the city. Zooming in closer, you see the Carson Park property outlined in red is located between H and I Streets and Boone and Carson Streets. The playground area is outlined in yellow, and the historic park lodge and pergola structures are circled here in blue. The Green Book's description of the Carson Park property is limited to the Carson Park Lodge, shown in this image. The lodge was constructed in 1932 and is described in the Green Book as a one-story colonial revival public building. Reportedly, a condition of granting of the property stipulated the park be dedicated for only park and playground uses, and no other structures be constructed for any other use besides a recreation park and playground, and no changes to the historic structures are being proposed. Existing playground equipment includes 2 play sets and 2 swing sets, which have been deemed damaged beyond repair. The Eureka Community Services Department proposes to replace all existing equipment with 2 new play sets pointed out by these red arrows, a seesaw circled in orange, and an Omni Spin spinner pointed out by the yellow arrow. Eureka Municipal Code, Chapter 157, Section 157.006C requires a proposed alteration to a historic property be reviewed by the Historic Preservation Commission. The analysis in the staff report was based upon the Secretary of Interior standards for treatment of historic properties. Specifically the standards for rehabilitation. Staff selected the rehabilitation standard because the project involves removal and replacement of damaged playground equipment within a defined recreational area without changes to the historic Carson Park Lodge and Pergola, and is consistent with the site's continued recreational use and historic character. Based on the findings made in the staff report, staff believes the project is consistent with the required findings, and therefore our recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution finding the project is exempt from CEQA and conditionally approving the Carson Park Playground Replacement Project. I have a suggested motion when you're ready. Myself and Community Services staff are available if you guys have any questions. Thank you.
Any questions of staff?
Will the new playground equipment still be dinosaur themed?
Not that I know of, no.
My daughter will be sad, but she'll probably still play there.
Other questions of staff? I have what I hope is a factual question. Do you know when the existing playground equipment was installed?
Oh, that's a good question. I do not.
All right. Just for the background, it's probably not 50 years old. But if it were 50 years old or older, that would be a significant fact for consideration by the commission. Okay. And then another somewhat more whimsical question. What's happened to swings?
Oh, maybe that's a question for the applicant. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions of staff? All right. Then we see a gentleman approaching the microphone. Would you like to identify yourself?
Yes. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jeff Ramey. I'm the Deputy Director for Community Services. In regard to the question about the swings, we did just replace a swing set there that was non-functional anymore. And so a swing set was replaced with another swing set, similar bay and playability.
Okay. So the illustration did not show a swing set, so I assumed it was being removed.
It is not removed. It was already replaced. And
Okay.
this project, basically the conceptual renderings that you saw there are fairly specific to the play pieces that we're looking at. And we had some options to look at through a certain vendor. Our funder is the Kiwanis Group of Henderson Center. It's their 75th anniversary, and this has been a project that they wanted to take on. They were involved in the original installation of the dinosaur play area that's there currently, I believe in the 80s, late 80s to early 90s. And they have a special purchasing power and discount with a certain vendor that we have used at other parks. And then they'll be doing the fundraising, which just kicked off about a couple weeks ago. And then the concept for the installation will be a build in a day. So you'll see it come out overnight. We did this similar project at Hammond Park, and it's quite impressive for the community to get to have that experience where all of a sudden you have a new playground and not wait several months for that. So thank
Good.
you.
Thank you. Any other questions for staff? I trust that was your presentation, or is there anything else you wish to address the commission on?
Not unless there's any specific questions. Thank you.
Any specific questions? All right. Thank you very much. If there are no further questions of staff, then we'll move into the public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the commission on this matter? Seeing no one approach the microphone, I trust that you've said what you want to say. So let's close the public hearing and bring the matter back before the commission for consideration. What is your pleasure?
Can we have the staff motion? I'd make a motion that we can accept the staff suggestion here.
All right. So the draft motion has been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There is a second. Is there any discussion of the draft motion? From your silence, I suggest, I understand that there is none. So without objection, we will proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. It appears to be unanimous in favor. So you want to inform our colleague what happens next?
There's a 10-day appeal period, and then you're free to apply for your building permits.
Good.
If needed.
Anything else on this matter? If not, then we move on to the Schrader window replacement. Would you like to give us the report?
Yeah, Assistant Planner Henry Baker will be presenting to you today.
All right, good evening, Commissioners. Assistant Planner Henry Baker. For those of you I haven't made your acquaintance yet, and for your consideration, I'll be presenting the Schrader window replacement project. Here's a bird's eye view of the project location within the context of city limits. The property is located at 2837 California Street, a property on the Historic Register. Zooming in, we can see the property is located on the northeast corner of California and Grotto Streets and is approximately 8,200 square feet in size. Here are two photos of the project's front as seen from California Street in 2007 and this year. The Green Book describes the property as a 2-story frame and shingle Late Queen Anne house with pedimented gable and front porch, dentile molding, and sunburst motif on porch gable. In addition to the Green Book description, EurekaHistory.com adds the different shades of blue add to the appearance of the house. Note that these features are all present except for the blue trim, which has since been painted white, but the overall character of the building has remained largely unchanged. The photo on the left is from Google Maps, and it's the oldest photo staff was able to find. The photo shows all aftermarket vinyl windows with the exception of the 2 circular stained glass windows which have been left intact. So the applicant is seeking after the fact approval to replace 11 vinyl windows installed by the previous owner with newer vinyl windows of better quality, and also approval to replace an additional 2 first-story vinyl windows with newer vinyl windows of the similar type, shown here, A and B. The diamonds labeled 1 through 6, A and B, represent the 6 already replaced first-story windows and 2 additional first-story windows yet to be replaced. The squares labeled 7 through 11 represent the 5 already replaced second-story windows. Photos of the windows are provided in attachment 2 of the packet. Replacement of these windows is being requested to stop persistent issues of leaking and drafts, protect the building from water damage, and ensure the comfort and health of the occupants. Eureka Municipal Code Section 157.6c requires that a proposed alteration be reviewed in light of its effect on existing historical character of the affected structure as it relates to the streetscape. In addition, the analysis in the staff report was based on the Secretary of Interior standards for treatment of historic properties, specifically standards for rehabilitation, which involves minor repairs and alterations while preserving the historic character of the structure. So staff has added 2 suggested conditions of approval, which are A, that the applicant shall undertake the project as approved by Historic Preservation Commission, and any deviation in design, architectural style, or exterior appearance from those currently proposed and conditioned shall have prior approval. And B, that the applicant shall obtain a building permit prior to the start of any construction activities, The work shall be performed in a manner that protects surrounding materials, such as window trim, components, and casing materials, and any materials removed and determined to be reusable shall be reinstalled as part of the replacement work. If any original materials are determined to be beyond repair or reuse, they shall be replaced like for like, matching the original in material, dimensions, profile, and finish. So based on the findings of the analysis demonstrated in the staff report, staff believes the proposed alteration meets the standards for rehabilitation as conditioned. Therefore, the recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution finding the project is exempt from CEQA, conditionally approving the application. The applicant and myself are here to answer any questions you have, and I have a suggested motion when you're ready.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Just a procedural one. The current vinyl windows were replaced without approval or permit?
There's no permit on file pre-2007 for the replacement of those windows.
So we are retroactively approving that prior act?
No, the applicant recently began replacing windows, the vinyl that was replaced before with newer vinyl windows.
All right. So we're retroactively approving those replacements and
Yes.
approving additional replacements.
Yes, 11 and 2 additional.
Good. Thank you. Any other questions of staff? If not, then we'll invite the applicant to address the commission if they wish to do so. Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
I wanted to ask if some of them have already been replaced. Are there photos of the ones that have already been replaced?
Oh, yes. Attachment 2 of the packet has some photos that the applicant provided of
Which
the
include
windows that
those.
have been replaced.
Okay.
Any other questions of the applicant? All right. If there are no further questions of the applicant, then we'll move on to the public hearing. I would invite anyone in the audience who wishes to address the commission on this matter to approach the podium. Checking the screen, there's no one in the virtual meeting or in the current meeting that is approaching the podium. So I will close the public hearing and bring the matter back to the commission for consideration. What is your pleasure?
I'd like to get some clarification on, do we have existing policy? I hear you asking about, are we retroactively approving this? Do we have an existing policy on how to proceed when the historic windows are already long gone and we don't have any evidence of them?
Staff can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not aware of any formal policy with regard to that. I know that the commission has been bedeviled over time by dealing with changes that were made without permission. And I think implicitly what we're doing is recognizing and approving the prior installation. Not approving, but recognizing it as a fait accompli and accepting it going forward with respect to this property. Am I interpreting this correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, what is your pleasure?
I'll move that we approve, and I don't have that information because I'm staring at the nice replacement on the gable end here. The much more historic character than the other picture from 2007. But that we adopt a resolution finding I move the Historic Preservation Commission adopt a resolution finding the project exempt from CEQA and conditionally approving the window replacement at 2837 California Street.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion of the motion?
It feels like we are powerless in this moment, and I'd rather that the commission not be put into this place where we're dealing with the previous disregard of historic standards for our historic homes.
I suspect it may be within our authority to require the applicant to restore the original wooden windows. My gut is that that's a disproportionate burden on the applicant, whom I suspect, I don't know, but I suspect bought the house in good faith with the existing windows. So that you know, there are options. They're not happy options, but there are options. Okay. Any other discussion? If not, then I sense that you're ready for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed say nay. It appears to be unanimous in favor. Would you inform the applicant that what comes next?
There is a 10-day appeal period, following which you may apply for a building permit.
Is there any other business with respect to this action item? If not, then we move on to the third public hearing, the Kelso roof replacement. Would you give us the report on that?
Yeah, Assistant Planner Samuel Grifford will be presenting too, and I'm happy to report these. Well, never mind, I'll share the other one later. But yeah, our third Assistant Planner will be presenting too.
All right. Hello, members of the Historic Preservation Commission. I'm Samuel Grifford, Assistant Planner with the city, and I'm here to present the proposed Kelso roof replacement at 1204 H Street. So here's the residence in the context of the city. It's in the central part of town at the intersection of 12th and H on the southwest corner. The residence is in the residential high zoning district. It was constructed in 1887 and is described in the Green Book as a 2-story 19th century structure with craftsman remodeling and 1921 alterations. I'm afraid I couldn't find any more than that. In the Sanborn maps, you can see on the left that's 1887, and then the right there is 1920, so it appears to widen from the alterations, and the footprint of the structure is largely the same. Here's the residence today from the intersection of 12th and H, and a better view of the roof from 12th Street. The existing asphalt shingle roof was installed in 1980 and is due to be replaced. It is leaking and causing water damage to the interior of the building. Tom Kelso, the applicant, has stated he was quoted over $50,000 from a contractor for a like-for-like replacement asphalt shingle roof, and that this is not financially feasible. So, the proposed project replaced the damaged asphalt shingle roof with an exposed fastener metal roof, specifically ASC Building's Strata Rib product. Metal roofing is longer lasting, more durable than asphalt, and fire resistant. Tom has also stated he has experience installing this product before and plans to install it himself. In addition to the roof replacement, 2 non-functional roof vents will be removed and the holes patched over. These are for appliances that are no longer present in the building. So here's a mock-up of what the proposed roof will look like from the street. I used the manufacturer's website for this. Okay, so as documented within the staff report, Eureka Municipal Code requires the proposed alteration to be reviewed in light of its effect on the existing historical character of the affected structure as it relates to the streetscape. In addition, the analysis was based upon the Secretary of the Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties, specifically the standards for rehabilitation. Staff selected this standard because the proposed project involves the repair and limited alteration of a historic property to ensure its continued use as a residence while preserving features that convey its historical and architectural significance, such as the roof's gabled form, the chimneys, and ornamental woodwork beneath the eaves. Staff believe the project can be consistent with the standards for rehabilitation and approved subject to the following conditions. Those being, the applicant shall undertake the project as approved by the Historic Preservation Commission. He'll obtain a building permit prior to the re-roof to the satisfaction of the building department. The new roofing material shall have a matte finish in a subdued gray color to match the existing roof, though the applicant has stated he is flexible in regards to color if the commission feels otherwise. And the new roof shall not extend beyond the existing roof line in a way that obscures or alters any architectural features. And installation shall be done in a way that avoids damage to the historic materials and is reversible. So, staff's recommendation is that we hold a public hearing and that the committee adopt a resolution finding the project exempt from CEQA and approving with conditions. I have a suggested motion on the next slide, but we'll stop to allow for discussion. I also have the applicant here available to answer any questions. Yeah.
Thank you for your report. Are there questions of staff? If not, then I would invite the applicant to address the commission. Is there anything you'd like to tell us? Please identify yourself for the record.
I'm Kelso, the applicant. Push this button? Turn it off? Okay.
It should be a little green light staring
There
at
is a
you.
little green light now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Tom Kelso. I'm the owner of the property. And I just, last winter, I had a number of leaks in the house. And I've known for a number of years that the roof is in sad condition and needed to be replaced. So I got some bids last year, which surprised me at the cost of what the local companies wanted to do it. And so I looked into re-roofing it myself with a friend and figured out the cost was going to be a quarter or a fifth of what the estimates would have been. And I personally believe that metal roofs are the way of the future, that given the fire issues that California has, my daughter recently moved from Placerville because they're in an area where fires are normal at this point. And, I think the advantages of having a metal roof where the embers, if there's fires nearby, another house or something else is happening, a metal roof is actually more protective of a house than an asphalt shingle roof. And the durability, they're very long lasting. They tend to outlast asphalt shingle roofs. And so I've been a fan of them for a while and believe that that's a economical, cost-effective way to re-roof the house for longevity and future protection in case we have a firestorm that comes through. I would prefer to have a metal roof on my house than an asphalt or a wood roof on the house. So I'm not sure what else to say. So if you have any questions, this is the first time I've done something like this. So I'm a little nervous and not quite sure of how the process proceeds. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Okay. That's exactly how it proceeds. You did a good job.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there questions of the applicant?
Go ahead. You have a question about the gray color. Is that the color of your shirt, would you say?
The gray color can be any color that you folks determine is appropriate as a historical value. I've got some rental properties, and what I've learned about color over the years is no matter what I paint something inside or out, a few people would think it's beautiful. A few people would think it's like, why did you do that? And everybody else will hate it. So, I have a sister who painted her house in Vancouver, Canada, and she went through 10 different samples of the color that she finally chose. And when I finally saw it, and she went to Art Center School of Design, So I sort of looked up to her as the pinnacle of this is a good color. And when I saw it, it was like, huh, that isn't the one I would have chose. So I've learned not to be very particular about colors. I try to get neutrals because they seem least offensive to the most people. And, you know, if you go into Pearson's and you look at the sample racks of all the colors that are available, it's like, it's overwhelming to me. And so modern gray is sort of my default interior color at this point because it's just a neutral color that offends the least number of people.
And if I may, for the mock-up, I believe I picked the Old Town Gray color up there. That's a catalog from the manufacturer.
That looks like his shirt.
I picked something that I thought we did a site.
Yeah, if I can interject. So you can remove that condition about the color, but we thought since the material is drastically changing, right, from the comp shingle to a metal roof, to try to keep a similar look with the color. So that was actually me recommending that, and not having it be reflective so it blends in with how it's been. But certainly you can remove that condition or modify it.
No. That was my thought completely. You know, keeping it similar. You mentioned Placerville. I have friends that outside of Butte Meadows, Jonesville, that they have 35 cabins there. Almost all of them are friends of mine, yes, because we all went to high school together. So, and I should preface this by saying that I came in here just as you are, Tom, maybe a dozen years ago for a permit for a garage on my historic property.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm sitting here and have been for the last 10 years. So just be careful what you say.
I've tried to be.
So that being said, you're removing the existing roof?
Yes, the existing asphalt, and then there's a layer of probably redwood shingle underneath that.
And
So
you're going
both
to
of
take the
those would come
shingles off.
Hmm?
You're going to take the shingles off.
Yes.
And therefore you're going to put plywood down. There'll be space sheeting underneath the shingles.
There's skip sheathing underneath the shingles, and I've had interesting discussions with metal roof manufacturers.
Yeah.
I put a metal roof on a place in Hawaii, and the manufacturer of the metal over there recommends not to put it in the flat, but to put it in the rib. They're very specific about that, and I went round and around with them to try to figure out why. In their experience in Hawaii, that's what they recommend. Then if I talk to a manufacturer of metal roofing here, they all want to put it down in the flat, which in a way doesn't make sense to me because that's where the majority of the water is running. So I think where I'm trying to go with this is if, depending on the skip, and I believe it's about 3 inches of the sheathing, I'm not sure that putting a full plywood deck over that in terms of moisture being able to escape and stuff like that, I'm not sure it makes sense to put a complete plywood deck on it when I've already got the skip sheathing, which would allow solid fasteners to that. So I haven't figured that part out actually, but whatever the building people want here, sometimes building codes make sense to me, sometimes they don't, but they are what they are.
Okay.
Bruce, do you know anything about the code?
Pardon?
Do you know anything about what the code requirement would be, whether they'd require it to be?
Well, I'm pretty sure I do, but
Okay.
maybe we have a more current expert on it.
You do not have to offer an opinion, but you may.
We're both licensed contractors, so
Okay. I mean, I realize
mine's
that
inactive.
if I were to reshingle it with wood shingles, then the skip sheathing is what would normally be the proper procedure. And I know that they've got, we used to use tar paper when we, put down a roof, and now they've got the miracle, rolled stuff that we put down instead, which is the underlayment sheet that sheds water if it gets underneath. So anyway, what I'm saying is, your question was whether I'm going to plywood the deck or not. I hadn't made a decision about that because I needed to find out more information about what Humboldt County's code is about that.
Yeah.
I suspect this is a structural matter, maybe for the building code department,
Yes.
not necessarily a historic preservation issue, since it's not going to be visible at the street.
We're not really here to dictate how it's built.
Right.
The homes up in Jonesville, the cabins up there, their homes, all went over right over the shake roof.
Right.
With the
which is one of the advantages of a metal
and
roof
that's
is
what
that the
started
weight
the
of it.
conversation.
Yeah, the weight of it isn't enough to.
Yeah, and it becomes very visible that there's another roof underneath of it, which doesn't look traditional at all. And that's why I started asking these questions. So thank you very much.
So I think to answer your question, it would be down to the skip sheathing and or plywood put on, and I don't know yet. But in either case, you wouldn't see any, what do they call it when it transfers the pattern underneath, that you would be able to see it because it would just be, solid skip sheathing or a plywood deck.
Okay. Any other questions of the applicant?
I do.
Please.
Clearly, you're doing it yourself. Before you chose metal, did you price out asphalt shingles, do it yourself?
Last summer I did, and I got one bid for, it was in the high 40s, and the other bid I got was, I think it just crawled over 50,000.
And that was just for the materials?
No, that was for the roofing job.
Right. So
Yeah.
what I'm asking is,
material and labor.
so since you're doing it yourself, did you consider, or are you capable of keeping the same material and just replacing it with that instead, and it's still less, but retains its design integrity instead of the metal?
The original design integrity would have involved a wood roof. I mean, that's what it was built originally with.
I understand. But currently it's the asphalt shingles, so replacing it with a like material.
Correct.
I mean, the wood, I suspect at this point, is really not fire safe. So, but the asphalt shingles would be the closest to what it is now. So I was just wondering if you would price that out before the metal, because the metal is a significant design decision difference.
I know about how much the metal would be for me to purchase it. Once I got the bids for the asphalt, I sort of gave up going that direction for a number of reasons. One was the potential cost of it. And the second thing is, I believe that metal roofs are going to be, they come in various forms, but they're going to be the future in terms of, California. We've got real issues with fire safety. And, I think even with windows now, if you're in a fire area, you need to have tempered glass as part of the window surface. If you have a double glazed window, one of them has to be tempered glass. So all that stuff is evolving as we learn more about fire. And, the fire in Arizona now, it creates its own weather. We're running into fire situations that we don't have any historical knowledge to fall back on. And so when I think about it, then I go, well, if there's a better way to put a roof on with different material that is safer, it seems to me that would be the way we would be going. But obviously those are building code kind of issues about design issues, sort of like, what color paint do you want?
Other questions of the applicant? All right, then I have two. Let me drill down on what I think you were trying to go. Do you have the skills and ability to install an asphalt shingle roof?
No.
Okay. The property has wooden gutters, I believe.
Correct.
What is your intention with regard to the wooden gutters?
To maintain the wooden gutters where I can. I've got about a 12-foot section of wood gutter from another project that I was doing, that there's a little bit of rot in maybe 6 feet of the existing gutter that needs to be replaced. And so I would use the existing piece that I have, which is, an old, back when they were molding, out of real redwood, gutter material. So I have that to replace what I need to, and then if I need any more, I'll just have to source some more.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I think Eric Hollenbeck, is set up to run those, but the real issue is finding wood that meets the original. Redwood isn't what redwood used to be, as I'm sure you guys are aware. The tannins and the growth layers are, you look at an old piece of wood and you look at a new piece of wood and it's not the same. I mean, redwood is not, when we talk about redwood, it's not the same material.
Okay. Are there any other questions of the applicant? Is there anything further you'd like to say to the commission?
I'm open to color.
Thank you for that. Anything else?
No.
Then thank you for your presentation.
Okay.
At this point, I would like to open the public hearing on this matter. Is there anyone in the audience, real or virtual, who wishes to address the commission on this matter? Seeing no one approaching the mic, I will close the public hearing and bring the matter back to the commission for consideration. What's your pleasure?
Well, I think I made it clear. I just recently replaced my roof and I'm aware of the cost. But in this case, I just feel really strongly about the change. It's a significant change. And I'm not saying whether I'm for it or opposed, but I just want to make it clear how significant of a change this is. And because it's in an area that's less prone than Fieldbrook to fires, I'm just hesitant myself.
Thank you. Any other comments?
How would you feel about metal shingles? There are other products that mimic the look of wood shingles that are made out of metal.
I think the closest we can get to the existing look, the better. I've seen other residences do this, and it's a very industrial, different look. And so finding a balance between the historic purpose and the functionality of the future and the cost, I think if there's shingles, that would be a great way to go, and maybe that's something he could price out.
Other comments? I got a couple of observations. This one actually caught my attention. This is an interesting set of questions, or it triggers an interesting set of questions for me. If you apply the historic lens, the historic construction methodology lens to it, the appropriate roofing for this building is wood shingle, probably redwood wood shingle, although cedar would probably do. That's difficult to get and somewhat expensive. The common substitute for that, so common that it has become the default, is asphalt shingles. That provides something similar in terms of the texture of the roof, and is clearly what most people choose to do, and is almost, if not as long-lived as the metal version. The color guarantee in the materials we saw in our report was 25 years, I don't know how long a wood roof, metal roof lasts, but I presume it's longer than that. So if you just apply a standard historic analysis to it, saying what materials are appropriate, it's wood, it's asphalt, or some similar composition material, and something else. That's one perspective. The second perspective is how lasting this change is. The commission has typically not weighed in on paint colors for exteriors, and I think it's done so for a good reason. It's entirely contentious, and perhaps more importantly, the paint color is ephemeral. You wait 10 years and there's almost a certainty that it will be changed. You know, we had a white house that was once a blue house, and it's going to be some color 10 years from now. So the question is a roof ephemeral? One could make the argument that it is. If he puts in metal roof now, there is nothing to keep some subsequent owner, some decades down the road, from replacing that metal roof with something that is more historically appropriate. Okay. The last thing I thought about is a simple thought experiment, which perhaps overstates the case. But if the Carson mansion were on the register and the Ingomar Club were applying to replace the roof on the Carson mansion with standing seam metal roof, how would you feel? How would that impact the visual appearance, the historical appearance of the structure? And I think we can agree that on that structure, that significant a structure, we would have grave reservations about doing that. I am not suggesting that this house should be treated like the Carson mansion, but I think it's part of our consideration. So those are just observations. They don't lead to any particular recommendation, but as I said, this issue intrigued me and I thought they were worth sharing. With that said, what's your pleasure? Let's put the staff motion up there because that's a good place to start. So the staff motion is accepting the applicant's request and approving the standard seam metal roofing. I would suggest we may want to add a condition with regard to the wooden gutters, because those are a significant portion, significant element, and relatively rare at this point. And the applicant seems to be willing to conserve them. Any objections to adding that to whatever we do?
No.
Okay. So the question is primarily, what do you want to do?
I move that we adopt the staff motion here with the caveat that we need to protect the wooden gutters and retain them and repair them wherever possible. Oh, sure. I move the Historic Preservation Commission adopt the resolution finding the project exempt from CEQA and conditionally approving the Kelso roof replacement at 1204 H Street, with the addition of the necessary protection of the wood gutters existing on the building and the repair of the same wherever possible.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? In order to consider the motion, we need a second. Okay, we have a second, so we may move into discussion. Discussion. What do you want to say?
I don't know if this helps, but I feel like the constant struggle of how much weight do we want to place on keeping things visually the way we want them, and also protect the integrity of this house. That roof looks bad. I'm worried about the future of this house as it stands, and if it just keeps going the way that it is, what's going to be left of it? And that's the owner's responsibility, but yet here we are with this decision in our hands, and it's just a tough one.
Yeah. Other comments?
Yeah, having lived through the firestorm in Oakland in '91 myself with wooden roof on my house, I feel the applicant's concern about this. And recently, on my non-historic house, I installed a metal roof myself for similar reasons, and just so that the applicant knows he's been heard.
Other comments?
I just want to say that I replaced a shingle roof, a wood shingle roof, because it was no longer insurable. So as far as owning a home in California, the reality now of the design versus ownership feasibility is an issue. And what you brought up with balancing that, I think, is going to become more challenging for us in the future. I mean, I've dealt with it, he's dealing with it, and roofs are a common thing, I think, to turn over. So
Any other comments? I will interject that one of our alternatives, if you wish to go down that road, is to approve the change but require him to use asphalt shingle. I asked him what his competency with regard to installing asphalt shingle was, and he said he doesn't have it. But my experience installing asphalt shingle roofs is I hate to say trivial, but if you know how to use a hammer, it's not hard. So if that were a concern, you could amend the motion to require a use of some form of composition shingle. With that said, is there any further discussion?
If we had a preference, would we ask for the applicant to come back with a more asphalt shingle looking metal? Is that something that the commission is more comfortable with?
If that were the commission's intent, I would suggest we could probably encompass it in the motion, suggesting that he come back with a shingle patterned roofing material, either metal or composition.
Well, I think Ms. Sumners is going to make a motion maybe that
We have a motion at this point. Do you want to make an amendment?
you're correct. We have a motion and amend it.
okay, so I would like to add an amendment to the motion. Is that the right language?
Yes.
You can do
Okay.
a friendly amendment and ask them to.
Well,
amend
Can I
it.
make
It
a
is
new
an
motion?
amendment is an amendment. She has to offer the amendment. If
Okay.
I don't believe in friendly amendments, just this is a matter of personal priority. We can adopt an amendment by consent, but it always has to be brought back to the body for consideration. It's not a matter between the maker and the amender. So, excuse me, I am standing on my parliamentary throne and dictating to you all. So, anyway, you wanted to propose an amendment.
So I'm proposing an amendment to the person that made the motion to include research on additional materials that would mimic the existing roofing more.
May I offer my assistance?
Yes, please.
Okay. It's
Thank you.
if you request research, then that's not an approval.
Okay.
Okay. And the intent is to give an approval that the applicant can either accept or appeal.
Okay.
So if the intent of your motion is to require a shingle-like roofing material,
Yes.
okay, then amend it to say conditioned upon the roofing material having a shingle-like appearance in metal or composition.
What he said.
Is that clear enough? Can you make that into a comprehensible sentence?
No, I need to hear. Can you say it again? It's so you wanted
Yes.
either a metal roof that looks like comp shingles or comp shingles.
Yes.
Well, we want it to look like wood shingles, but that's perhaps,
Or just looks like shingles.
A shingle type material.
yeah. All right, that is an amendment. We need a second in order to consider the amendment.
I'll second that.
All right, is there any discussion of the amendment?
I will just say that I know that there's a vast price difference in every different type of metal roofing, from the exposed fastener system we're talking about to the standing seam that I installed on my own roof, and to the shingle appearance of the metal panelized shingle system. Very different price points. And we started this whole discussion with the concept that the asphalt shingles were too expensive.
I believe the concern was the applicant did not quote the cost of asphalt shingles. He quoted the cost of a contractor replacing the entire roof with asphalt shingles.
You're correct.
All right. Any other discussion on the amendment? I think we'll vote then. All in favor signify by saying aye on the amendment.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, so the motion is amended to require a shingle-like material. Okay? That brings us back to the main motion as amended. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, then I sense you're ready for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. The motion as amended is passed. Would you like to advise the applicant about what comes next?
Tom, so there's a 10-day appeal period, and then after that, you can apply for a building permit. For the re-roof, yes. Yes.
Is there any other discussion on this item? If not, then we move on to old business. I don't see any old business on the agenda. If there's no old business, then we move on to new business. There is an item there, eurekahistory.com. Would you like to present that to us?
Yeah, this is just kind of a heads up that we are struggling with maintaining this website. I believe our IT person here, Derek, who's in the back, has been doing it, but we are looking for some help. So I just wanted to bring that up.
What assistance do you require or wish to receive?
Raylene? Thank you, Raylene.
So really what we're looking for...
Raylene, sorry, you have to put your microphone down.
There we go. Really what we're looking for is if anyone on the commission is interested in having a password, being a part of helping. We have heard from previous Commissioner Petty that there are problems with it. Unfortunately, we're having a hard time identifying all those problems, and we don't really know how the program works or what the program was originally meant to do, or the website was originally meant to do. So we were kind of questioning, and I think Mr. Loring, you brought this up with an email to me, seeing if anyone on the commission was interested in being a part of helping us figure this out.
Thank you. Who has visited the site?
Not recently, but in a long, far off day.
I went on. I
Right.
went on just before this, and it says this is parked. There is no website that I could see. If I went to the correct one, which is eurekahistory.com.
I believe you went to the incorrect website.
Okay, well, I'll have to double check that then.
All right. Comments?
This seems like a great forward-facing place for our community members with historic houses to find information before they buy a historic house or before they need to come before the commission. So I think this is a worthy effort for us to be involved in. I'd be glad to give some time to this.
All right. Any other comments? Then I would suggest each of us visit the site, and we schedule this for discussion at our next meeting. And at that point, we can come up with a task list for what we think needs to be done with the site to make it maximally effective. Agreed? Okay.
And I'll spend some more time on it and connect with Derek on the IT side also, and so we're more informed when we have the next meeting.
Okay. That's great. Anything else on this item?
I was just going to ask if an email would be sent out to everyone so that.
A reminder? What a great idea.
Yeah,
With the
I thought
website.
so.
I will work on doing that. I'm out for a couple days, but yes, the first part of next week, I'll make myself a note and send that to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I will also mention that we pay, I believe it's Amazon Web Services, about $100 a month for rent on the website. My department is planning on bringing that in-house and actually hosting it in City Hall. And that would allow us to familiarize ourselves with how this thing works, like behind the scenes. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to working with Raylene on this.
Okay. Any other comments on this matter? Thank you for bringing the matter to our consideration. Is there anything else under new business? All right. Then we move on to director's reports and communications. Does the director have anything to report to us?
Yes, I have this nice flyer in here to join for the historic Boone Fence dedication and ribbon cutting on Thursday, August 14th at 4 p.m. It's at the Annie B. Ryan House at 1000 F Street. And it's put on by the Eureka Heritage Society. Also, I just wanted to share our new team. Director Kenyon couldn't be here today, but we have our 3 assistant planners now, and we have a new senior planner, Chris Lohefner. Very excited to have him. He's only been with us for about 3 months. And then 2 of the assistant planners over here have only been for about 6-7 months. Luckily, we've had Alex now for almost a couple of years. But yeah, trying to get everyone up to speed and, really appreciate your patience in this transition from when Kristen gets retired. It's definitely been challenging. And I am have to admit that I feel out of my wheelhouse at times and, for lack of a better word, ignorant on a lot of this stuff. So I definitely want to be able to effectively and efficiently serve you. So I'm hoping that, I can just continue to learn and figure out a way to get feedback to also help the applicants as well as meet the mission as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, congratulations. Welcome. It's nice to see such a strong bench. May your presence at the city be a long and happy one. No turnover. Any other comments? All right. Anything else on the director's reports?
I do want to give you a heads up that we have 2 applications for gutters, wooden gutters to be removed. So we are... I have no idea how we're going to address that right now in the staff reports, but they're coming up. So I'm glad we talked about gutters today.
Yes. Anything else from the director? All right. Then anything from the commissioners? Anything you want to share?
I have a couple items. The first of which, I picked up this flyer from the Humboldt Association of Realtors at a meeting I was at on Tuesday morning. September 30th from 11 to 1 o'clock, Jill McDonald, realtor and historic home enthusiast, will be offering a class. And as far as I can read into the details here, it's about how to register a historical home, presumably within Eureka, but perhaps within the larger jurisdiction of California. It is a $15 fee to attend the class. And it's being held September 25th.
Is there something else you want to share?
I was just going to ask if tariffs change.
Microphone. No. Well, perhaps you shouldn't say that.
On this, related to the website and also in tandem with this, how to register a historic class or historic building, I just spoke with another homeowner who's remodeling a historic house on West Sonoma Street, and I asked him if he knew about the potential for Mills Act tax credits, and he had no idea. So it seemed like he was pretty excited about the potential, which would, of course, require him to bring the house into historic registration. But
it was exciting to hear people were open to the concept, and the carrot here, as opposed to the stick, was actually motivational.
Good. Anything else?
Not on that matter.
Well, if there's something else you want to talk about, talk.
I had a phone call earlier today with Council Member Castellano, and in that phone call, we talked about a historic preservation commission decision we made that had been overturned last night at a council meeting. And apparently, it's not the first time it's happened, and it was news to me, and was kind of an interesting surprise. And I would love to know more about the process, and I'd love to know if there's a chance or even an opportunity for us to represent the commission when those things are coming up for discussion at the council.
I have to offer my apologies to the commission on that matter. I was aware of it, and I would have attended the commission, and we should have shared that information with the commission, because although staff is able, in terms of representing matters, their job is not to justify our decision, but to give information. There's only us who can really justify our decision to the council. And I had wanted to be there, but I had a personal priority which led me to abandon my public responsibility. So I would ask staff normally things are not appealed, but I would ask staff if there is an appeal to share the information with the commission as a whole.
Yeah, I apologize. I mean, with the new staff and keeping this machine going, yes, you should have been included. Well, so Pam sends out the agenda, but next time I'm going to have Raylene, if you're listening, to help remind me when there is an appeal, that when we get that agenda from Pam Powell or city clerk, if Raylene or myself can forward it to the commission.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
I can absolutely do that. The other thing I can do, if any of you are interested, is I can get your emails to Pam, and then you'll be getting all the city council agendas, whether you're included with it or not, in case there's anything in it you want to be a part of as part of the community.
I'd also like to clarify that when there is an appeal, there's a certain time frame that you must go to the appeal body. So if you do make a decision that is not in line with what an applicant is seeking, then most likely that decision will go on appeal within 45 days.
So. Yeah. Whenever it's appealed, whether it's by the applicant or a third party, it can be. I would like to give the commissioners the opportunity to weigh in on it. Thank you. Anything else? All right. Anything else from the other commissioners? All right. Then we move to the public comment period. This is the point in the agenda where anyone in the audience can address the commission on a matter within our jurisdiction. Is there anyone with the audience, either virtual or real, who wishes to address the commission at this point? Seeing no one approaching the microphone, I will close the public comment period. Is there any other business for the commission this afternoon? If not, then we stand adjourned till next month. Thank you all for your time and attention, and for the, I think, very productive debate on what I thought was a challenging issue. We stand adjourned.